Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident Tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now, this week it looks like we're going to be finishing off 2021 on a huge note, and man, oh man, do we have a lot of stuff in store. Not just to wrap out the year, but also wrap it out on a high note with a lot of big events and a lot of big ticket bots and rewards incoming. So it's for that reason I have named this week's episode New Year's Celebrations. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what they did announce for this week, just to kind of help break down, because there was a lot of stuff to cover that they did tease and update for this coming week to wrap out 2021 and officially introduce 2022. The first of which would be the Gacha banners that were highlighted. The number one bot, and that one that's being highlighted currently as the brand new model, is WEA02 Imagine Kaiser, making his debut all the way back from the days of Medarot Navi as a hidden achievement, hidden set that you could find, more so than an actual story-based bot. And he is coming to the game with a kit of Wide Break, which is a new skill, a gravity attribute skill, Hyper Missile, Laser, Multi-Legs, and the Bullet Rain like ability. So which essentially would put him on the same tier as basically being a... this isn't necessarily fair to say to him, but it's more like a budget-friendly Beastmaster or God Emperor, but without the heavy limit, which already puts him on a very high tier compared to most other weapon types that we've seen thus far. Speaking of weapon types, we do also have a rerun for WEA0 Beastmaster with a kit of Press, Napalm, Hyper Beam, Multi-Legs, and the Trigger Happy leg ability. So also a very big ticket item, very big ticket especially for dedicated shoot nukers, both for the leg and both for the legs and the left arm, but any part of him can be catastrophically dangerous if you know how to use him. On top of that, we also are seeing KWG08 make an official rerun as well, with a kit of Stealth, Sword, Hammer, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Mirage, which grants him the Conceal ability whenever he charges Metaphors. So very fast, very speedy, very well balanced as well with conventional melee combat, but also is capable of meta change, where he exchanges two of his skills for anti-air and anti-sea for even better overall coverage. So another very big ticket item to consider. On top of that, we also are seeing reruns for KWG01 Rokusho with a kit of Radar Sight, Sword, Hammer, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Charge Fight. Compared to most other models we've seen at this point, Rokusho is the only one that is a Spotlight. So I wouldn't necessarily consider him a big ticket model to go after, as we typically already have the opportunity to go after him basically any time as we play or make attempts at Gacha banners, because he's already in the permanent pool. But not just him either, we also have KBT-05 Black Beetle with a kit of Missile, Rifle, and Gatling with Biped Legs and the Through Shot leg ability. Also capable of meta change, Black Beetle maintains the exact same kit, but exchanges her leg type and her leg ability for Tank Legs, which basically help her negate any kind of terrain disadvantage in the cases where Biped Legs may or may not be the best suitable match. And as if this wasn't enough, we do also have a end-of-year paid banner highlighting a lot of all-stars that we've seen through the year thus far, mostly female-based models, as denoted by the graphic image, in addition to Imagine Kaiser, who's being highlighted this week. So highlights on the VTubers primarily, with Cheerful Bunny, Leah Lila, and Shushu Pop, along with others such as Sadahime and Artemis. So like I mentioned, this will be a paid banner, so in order to access this one, you will need to actually buy rubies from the convenience store or from the ruby shop in order to make use of it. So granted that with this, you will have only 3-star or higher, all 3-star parts and bots, so all the 2-star and lower are removed from it, but you only get 3 tries, so basically 30 pulls total, and then after that, the banner will disappear. But of the 5, or rather 6 Gacha banners that we do have this week, I would arguably say that Imagine Kaiser will for certain be the big ticket item, given the stat breakdown that they showed earlier this morning on the official channel. But all the bots in particular do have some kind of special skill or ability that makes all of them worth it in their own right. As for the Fierce Battles that were announced this week, we will be seeing WEA03P2, or Shisaku 2, the second prototype, with a kit of Charge Buster, Press, Power Rifle, Tank Legs, and the Trap Buster leg ability. After that, we are seeing LLY0 Lily Madonna with triple laser, tank legs, and the Haja leg ability, which grants stat cleanse on charging Metaforce. And then last but not least, we do have FLW01 Charged Seeds with a kit of Beam, Double Heater Plant, Multi-Legs, and the extra Magazine leg ability. Now ultimately, of the 3 Fierce Battles we have this week, it's a little tricky to actually say who is worth going after or who is the biggest or who's considered the MVP, as honestly all 3 of them are a little scattered in their kits, and finding their parts or the skills they offer, you can honestly do elsewhere with very little difficulty. But if I do want to rate any 1 or 2 of them as a MVP of the week to farm, I would give that to Shisaku 2 or Lily Madonna. Charge Seeds, I honestly would not recommend putting any time towards, as he really doesn't offer anything to the table that you can't find easily elsewhere, and skills that you really will have a very tough time to implement into a team. However, as denoted by the note here, there is also an end-of-year event this week, so I would recommend not prioritizing farming as a main item to do each day. Only do so if you're missing these spots in particular and need the parts, but purely for the sake of completion, more than actually farming them to high levels. Now, as if all this wasn't enough thus far, as well as the mention of an event, we do also have another big teaser, in that for the longest time, PvP or Meta League, non-real-time PvP, only had 2 models that were exclusive to its particular banner, KBT0E Beat and KWG0E Servo. You could not find these bots anywhere else. You had to participate in weekly PvP to get tickets, and that was the only way you could get them. Not anymore. Now we have 2 new bots that are going to be added to the PvP banner. Before I get to that, there are actually some highlighted reasons for the rerun banners that we're seeing this week, and that is because we are getting additional skins added to the convenience store. That includes a Lightning livery for Cross Messiah, a KLN livery for Beastmaster, which looks very nice by the way, not gonna lie, a Night Camo skin for Sonic Stag, Floral Pastel for Black Beetle, and last but not least, a KBT livery for Rokusho, which, even though to a degree looks rather off-putting, it is rather unique to the point where I'm open to it, and I'm interested to see how well it looks once it does officially become implemented into the game this coming Thursday. But all these skins will be added to the convenience store, so if you haven't spent your Christmas rubies that you got on Christmas Day, this is definitely an opportunity to make use of them if any of these skins do stand out. Quite personally, I'm still debating if I want to go between the Lightning skin for Cross or the Night Camo for Sonic Stag, but I will figure it out once the skins do officially go live. Now, as for the PvP bots that are being added in this week, that will also be permanently available. It is BAN0 Bankaran with a kit of triple counter guard, biped legs, and the Explorer leg ability. So while he doesn't offer anything to the table we have not seen already, he does offer the opportunity to be able to have counter guard more readily available for any team that is in need of a reflect-based skill. And the Explorer leg, and also with biped legs that can support up to 3 heavy parts, is honestly considered a rarity. So I'd say for that reason alone, that does make Bankaran worth going after if you do end up making use of any PvP tickets. In addition to Bankaran, we do also have UNI-01 Victory Horn with a kit of triple stat cleanse, multi-legs, and the Mirage leg ability. Now this alone will already put Victory Horn in a very high priority list and other big ticket item compared to other PvP bots or anyone in the standard pool thus far, because Stat Cleanse is always openly welcomed on any particular team because of how useful it can be anywhere and how vital it is in a lot of high-end meta teams, especially if you plan to go competitive. But also with the multi-legs with Mirage, that also is very good for the extra higher speed and the extra ability to keep yourself to stay on your toes and minimize damage or breaking of parts where possible. Now, with all this being said, there still is yet even more to come, and that is the announcement of an end-of-year event. With this event, you can earn rewards such as Medarot skins for Koishimaru and Saki, both protagonists from Medarot 5. We also will be seeing the official addition of Many Milk MYM0 to the game as an official model and not an enemy NPC. And last but not least, we also have the Phoenix Medal as another big ticket reward of this particular event to close out the year. Now, compared to most other events that we've seen in fair recent that were point-based, where mixed parts were encouraged, this event instead will be milestone-based. So instead of this, each part will give you a percentage multiplier of the amount of parts of the amount of points you can pick up at the end of each round. So with that being said, even though mixed parts can still be encouraged, I would actively encourage with these kind of events, you always want to go pure sets where possible to maximize that highest bonus. So in this case, for instance, with Imagine Kaiser being the highlighted and brand new bot of the banners this week, he does naturally will have the highest bonus. But then also included Bankaran and Victory Horn for anyone that does have PvP tickets to spend, the highlighted Gacha banners, including other previous weapon types of this week, which includes God Emperor, Death Providence, and Parallel Deuce, in addition to Many Milk, Shisaku 3, which is added, in addition to Shisaku 1 and the Fierce Battles of this week, grant the rewards in terms of highest to lowest. Now, as if an event alone already isn't good enough, because it's once again a chance for a great medal, another very handy set, and event reward skins, among other chances to pick up other rewards and resources. We do also have another big event coming, and another really big feature of this event in particular. And it's the fact that with this year, they are giving us an opportunity to pick up any previous event reward bots, Medarotters, or even medals from this last year's events and event rewards to pick up any that we perhaps missed. So this is a fantastic opportunity for any new players that joined fairly recently, or any veteran players that maybe missed an event, or late game players. This is a great chance and opportunity to pick up on a lot of fantastic bots, Medarotters, and medals. And with all of these, you can generally never go wrong with any of them, because all of the event bots do offer something very handy. Torito Beetle, for instance, is basically a walking Metaforce battery, so you can basically use him as a pure set or as mixed parts, and generally never go wrong. Medarotters are also openly welcome for the additional bonuses that they may offer, but most importantly, and I'd say this is the big highlight of this event, is the fact that you can also pick up previous medals that you missed out on. Now, even though considering Metaforce may be something you may or may not consider in a team, having the extra variety of medals does grant you a whole lot more freedom in team builds, in the sense that you might be limited to part compatibility normally, in the sense where you'll have a limited amount of medals based on story completion. Say, for instance, the gear medal or the fire medal or the shrimp medal, for instance, as examples denoted here. It's always great to have the extra medals as variety, and like I said, also a fantastic opportunity for new players and late game players that missed events to pick up where they left off and come back up to speed with stuff that was missed. So very, very much so looking forward to this event. I personally, having gone through all the events myself, already have all these rewards, so unfortunately, this event may be more of maybe like a standard event more than anything else for me. Simply picking up the skins, Many Milk, and the medal, and maybe just calling it a day. But for anyone else, this is a grade A opportunity to pick up some very handy parts, Medarotters, and medals. Aside from all this, on the Project Rising Beetle front, we are still continually looking for coders, cleaners, and translators for our Medarot Reloaded and Medarot 3 translation projects. So if you have any knowledge of coding, cleaning, or Japanese and have some time on your hands, we are more than open to any feedback, criticism, or efforts that you're willing to donate to help us get these projects worked on or finished so we can work on others. For instance, continually mentioning this as in the past, with Medarot 3, there is a lot of code that needs to be translated, cleaned, and then patched back into the game. So the more translators and cleaners that we have on that, the sooner that we can have the Medarot 3 translation finished and work on other projects such as, say, Medarot 4 or Medarot 5 or even Medarot Navi, all of which are very popular requests in terms of what we could consider as future projects. But aside from all this, I do believe that covers most of what was mentioned in this week's episode. I have to say, like I mentioned, it is a great way and a huge way to wrap up 2021 and officially introduce 2022. Some other missed pieces of news that were mentioned, as for instance the KBT and KWG Ori Meta contest that is still going on on Twitter with the official Medarot pages. That is currently ongoing until January 4th. So if you are planning to submit an entry, time time is starting to run out, but you still have time to still clean up or finalize the design, and then submit it to be considered as a potential candidate. But if you would like to know more, you can follow us below on the mentioned pages. On Facebook, you can follow us on the Medarot News Network page, my personal page, or the Metabots Forever community on Facebook. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below. This is the link directly to Project Rising Beetle's official Medarot server. This is also where all of us are the most active. So if you want to keep a very close ear to the ground on anything Medarot related, say with the games or with merch or with anything else related to the series as a whole, this is the fastest and greatest way to get in touch with me, or even join and network with other fellow Medarotters that also are keeping up to date with everything going on. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at Isagamikura. So if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, I have received a number of suggestions thus far on things I can do to continually improve my channel, and maybe streamline the process just a little bit of how I operate things. I'm taking all of it into consideration, and I'm still working on things as my channel does continually improve. But aside from all of this, you can also give these fine people a follow. I have not actually touched base on them on my channel officially as of yet, but what better way to do it than to wrap it up with the end of 2021 with such a fantastic event incoming and a way to introduce 2022. You can follow the official Medarot page on Twitter at Medarotcha, and the official Medarot S page as well on Twitter that gives all the latest updates, highlights, and teasers for anything coming to the game, as well as updates of maintenance or anything else of the like, at simply Medarot S on Twitter. But aside from all this, thanks again for stopping by, folks. It's always happy to have you in for a visit. Until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.